Hey everyone, it's Karen. Welcome to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate you joining me each and every time I upload a new video. And if you're new here, welcome. On my channel, I do a little bit of Bible journaling process videos and a little bit of faith planning. So if that's something you're interested in, I hope you'll consider subscribing and sticking around for a while. Today I'm going to be doing part 2 of my setup for the May Wow kit, the Word of the Week kit by Prepared From Above. And I started making these pocket folders for each word that we're going to be focusing on. And then inside I have my little tags here for my scripture writing. And for these, I've gone ahead and stamped out the verse on the front. I put the word fetty at the top of each tag, and then I'll do my scripture writing on the back. So this is what I've done for peace, and then I did the same thing here for calm. And so now on this video, I'm going to be setting up the remaining pocket folders for patience and meek and happy. And I've already cut out the ephemera that I wanted to use, and I've already, for the sake of time, cut out my tags, and I put the word fetty across the top of each tag for my scripture writing. So I'm going to go ahead and put these pocket folders together. And if you missed the first video where I went through the process of how to make these pocket folders, I'll see if I can link it up here for you guys. And then you can just watch the first part of that video and it'll show you how to make these little pocket folders. So for this video, again, like I said, this is part 2 from this video, and I'm going to be doing the remaining pockets, and I'm also going to be binding them all together. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on fast forward while I decorate these pockets, and then maybe put you back on real time for the binding of it all. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward and we'll get started. Okay, I'm going to start by getting a piece of pattern paper, and this is just a booklet of paper that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. It's by the Paper Studio, and I'm just going to cut it down to the width of my pocket folder, or what I think is the width. It should have been 4 inches, but I had 5 inches on my brain for some reason. So anyways, I cut it down to the width of the card for my flooring, and I'm just going to rip it across so that I have that white rough edge across the top. And here I realize that it's a little bit too wide for my pocket and a little too high, so I went ahead and tore off a little bit more paper and then cut it down to the right width. And then I'm going to stick it down on the bottom of my pocket just so that my chair has a place to sit. And then I'm just going to use my tape runner and stick down my chair. And then I'm going to get this alpha. This is a new alpha set by Illustrated Faith. And here I'm just showing you, when I get a new stamp set, there's a clear backing. And sometimes it gets lost in my mess because it is clear. So I like to take a little bit of washi tape and just stick it across of the top of the backing. That way when I set it to the side, I can find it because it's, you know, it has the washi tape on there. It's not clear anymore. So anyways, I used that stamp to stamp down the word patience on the front of my pocket folder. And then I'm using the little, my tape runner to put down that little vignette there on the bottom right-hand corner, and then my verses on the bottom left corner. And then I'm going to get my Pigma Micron pen. This is an 01 size. It's a very fine tip. And I'm just going to draw little lines across the top and the inside part of the flap, just so it looks kind of like little stitching. You'll see here in a minute. It's like faux stitching. So just to add a little bit of something to the pockets. And then I'm going to get my tags, which I've already put the word fetty that came with the kit onto the top of each tag. And then I have this stamp set. My husband picked up a bunch of different stamp sets for me at the thrift store, and this one is really old. I think it's on the stamp. It says it's thestampsoflife.com. I'll look it up, and if I can link that set below for you, I will, if it's still available, but it looks like a fairly old set. But anyways, I'm just looking for these little, looking at these little swirly things to add a little bit of something to the tag, and I was unsure whether I wanted to use the big one or the little one. And in the end here, I just go ahead and decide to use the smaller one on each of the tags just to add a little bit of something to each of them. And then I'm going to get my the same small alpha stamp by Illustrated Faith. And again, I will link that down below for you if it's still available. So I'm going to use that alpha stamp for my tags. And my first book is Hebrews. And I was going to start with the H, but then I decided to start with the E so that I can make sure that it's centered. And I don't know why that I chose to abbreviate this with the 3 letters instead of the 2 letters that I had been on my other cards, but it's okay. It ends up fine. So anyways, I use that stamp for the names of the books, and then I use the small little Matthew Alpha from By the Well for God to stamp out the numbers, and then I'm just using a felt marker to put the colon in between the chapters and verses, since I didn't have a colon as part of that stamp. So now these tags will all just fit inside of my pocket folder for patience. So that's what that looks like. Here I'll show you the outside cover in just a second. There it is. Okay, so moving on, this one is Meek, and again, those are all my tags, which I've already attached the word fetty to. And for this one, I thought it'd be kind of fun to put this ribbon across the top. You can't really tell on screen, but it does have, it's like a beigey color ribbon with green, dark green polka dots on it, which I thought would help bring in some of the green from the plants. Even though the ephemera that I use on the front doesn't have any green, it still kind of brings in the green from what I'm going to be putting on the inside. So I just used my tape runner to help stick it down, and then when I looped it back onto itself. And then now I'm going to get my tiny attacher to actually hold down all of the loops and make sure that they stick, because I'm not sure how strong that tape runner will hold. So now I'm just going to get my girl here. She's sitting on her bed, and I'm just going to put her down on the front of the card there. And I don't put any flooring for her because I felt like it might be too busy with the ribbon across the top. So anyways, I'm going to use the Big Story Alpha by Illustrated Faith to stamp out my title. And I started with the K on the right side, working inwards towards the left just to make sure that I'd have enough room for the word. And then here I'm just putting down that picture ephemera, and then the scriptures down at the right, or at the left hand corner, and then this little home thing, which is really cute. I kind of would like to have that in my home. But anyways, I'm going to get my Distress ink now. This is the Distressed Oxide in Bundled Sage. And again, in order to bring in some more of the green from the ephemera, I'm just going to use that ink along with the Big Story Alpha to stamp down my book chapter and verses. And then from the Mary Alpha from Illustrated Faith, that one does have a colon, so I'm using that to stamp out the colon in between the chapter and verse because I don't have a pen that's that exact color. So now those are all done, and I'm just going to stick those back into the pockets. And you can tell there at the top that the staples from the front do show in the back or on the inside of the pocket, but once the tags are in there, you really don't notice them all that much. So there is Meek. And then the last one we're doing is Patience. And so I'm getting this washi tape. This one's also by Illustrated Faith. I think it came with their Word Nerd kit from last year, but it has dark green crosses on it. So I'm just using that kind of as a base for my little chest of drawers here. And I'm just going to put that up at the top. And then I'm going to use the Christina Swirly Alpha from By the Well for God. And there I'm just trying to make sure that the letters will fit across the top. And then I end up also adding the little exclamation point with the heart at the bottom because it's cute. And then again, getting out this old stamp set because, I don't know, I just sort of associate swirlies with being happy. So I'm just going to stamp those along the top edge of the pockets on the inside, again, just to give it a little bit of decoration across the top. And then I'm going to get my verses, and I'm going to stick that down at the bottom left. And then this other chest of drawers, I'm going to put down there at the bottom right, but then I remembered that I wanted to put washi down there, so I'm getting the same washi, and I'm going to put it down there at the bottom just so that it can serve as a base for this other little smaller chest of drawers, and also the little plants that I'm going to put down there as well, just so that it has something to sit on and doesn't look like it's floating around my page. So there's the inside of my pocket folder, and then I'm going to get my tags as per usual, and I'm going to use the swirly again just to add something to the bottom of each of the tags. And in hindsight, I probably should have stamped this in pink, because you'll see in a moment I go ahead and stamp my book chapter verses with pink, but that's okay. I'm using the Mary Alpha from Illustrated Faith for the book chapter and verses here, along with this is a Perfect Plumeria Versamagic chalk ink, and it kind of matches the pink that's in the ephemera. So there's a look at Happy. I think that one turned out super cute, but then again, I am a little partial to pink. So here are all of my pocket folders for the May words of the weeks that we're going to be focusing on. Those are all of my pockets. So now moving on to how I'm going to bind them all. This is a paper pad that I got from Michael's, and I just pulled out this sheet of houses. It's really cute because the girls are all in their homes and things like that. I thought it would be cute to use that as a cover. And then I also have this other little piece of paper that came from the same paper pad, and it just has like Home Sweet Home and things like that I thought went well with the theme of this kit. And then also this green this green label. So I'm going to start by trimming my paper down to 9 inches wide, and I was getting myself all confused with the direction of the houses, but anyways, it ends up being 9 inches wide by 5 inches tall, because it's going to serve as the cover, so it's going to need to wrap around my 4x4 pockets, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to get out my scoreboard, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4 and at 4 3/4. So if you don't have a scoreboard and you're doing this on a 9-inch paper, the middle point of 9 inches is 4 1/2. So you want to go a 1/4 inch to the left and a 1/4 inch to the right, if that makes sense. So here I'm just going to use my bone folder and just crease the edges where I scored the paper, and you'll see here in a minute that it makes like a little book spine, so that my my pockets will all just sit in the middle of the folder, just like that. And I'm just using cardstock for the cover. I know some people use like a chipboard or like a cereal box or a cracker box, something with more, something that's a little bit more sturdy, but I'm not going to be, taking this book back and forth anywhere, so the cardstock is fine for me. But if you want to do something a little more sturdy, you could certainly cover like a chipboard or something like that with your patterned paper, and then just glue it on to the cover. So anyways, what I'm doing now is I'm going to cut out this this little piece of paper to the width of the cover of my cover. To the width of my cover, that's what I'm trying to say. And then I'm also going to make it about 1.5 inches tall. And this is just going to be like a little, kind of like a little band that's going to go across the front cover of my book, just to break up the row of houses, or the houses on the top, on the front. My goodness. So I'm just going to get my adhesive tape runner and just stick it down, and I'm going to put it about maybe 2/3 of the way down the page. And then I'm going to get my label in a minute here, and I'm going to use the Big Story Alpha stamp from Illustrated Faith again, and I'm just going to trim off a little bit of the excess green here real quick. And then I'm going to get the Alpha stamp, and I want to make sure that it's going to fit height wise, and then I'm just going to cross my fingers that it fits width-wise, and it does. It actually comes out really cute. So I'm just going to stamp out May 2022. That way I know what month this Wow kit was from. So it ends up fitting perfectly. So I'm just going to let that dry before I smudge it with my fingers while I'm taping it down. And in the meantime, I'm going to get my, this is a We Are Memory Keepers hole punch. And it punches holes, and it also sets eyelets. And I'm trying to show you right here that one side will punch a 1/8 inch hole, and the other side, if you flip it over, will punch a 3/16 inch hole. So that's the side that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to punch a hole in the spine. Well, I'm going to punch 2 holes in the spine of my book cover, one at the top and the bottom. And in hindsight, I probably should have scooted the holes inward a little bit more, because they are really close to the edge of the paper, but I didn't want to go and make a whole new one. I could have, but I didn't want to. So now I'm just going to get my eyelets, and I picked these up at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to use the white ones. Just because I'm going to be looping strings through those holes, and I don't want it to tear into the cardstock, since it is, you know, it's just cardstock. It's not cardboard or anything like that. So I'm going to get my eyelet, and I'm just going to put it through the hole at the bottom. Just like that. You can see it punches, you know, goes through to the inside of the book. And then you can see that the eyelet itself kind of overhangs the edge of the paper, but that's fine. It doesn't bother me. So then I'll just go ahead and do the same thing to the top, what's going to be the top of my book cover. And then here I'm showing you when you use this, if you have one, you want to make sure that that little post that's on the right hand side, you want to make sure that that part is on the top of your eyelet, and it goes through, that little post goes through the center of the eyelet, and then you just squeeze, and then it makes a nice little reinforcement for any kind of holes that you want to make, like on a book spine or like on a tag ring, so you can be sure that your paper will hold up to whatever you're going to put through those holes. So now I'm getting some string. This is some string that I just picked up again at Hobby Lobby, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm going to have enough before I cut it. And what it's going to be similar to is a traveler's notebook, where if you're familiar with them, they have elastics inside, elastic bands inside that hold the traveler's notebooks inside the traveler's notebook cover. So I'm going, since I have 5 pockets, I want to make sure that I have 5 strings on the inside of my cover to loop through each of those pockets, and I'll show you all of that in a minute here. So right now I'm just getting my string and trying not to get tangled up in everything, and I'm going from the outside towards the inside. So here you can see I have 2 strings in the middle so far to hold my pockets, and then I'll go ahead and do the rest off camera so you don't have to watch me. So here I'm showing you now I have the 5 strings, and I'm going to go ahead and loop my pockets in through each of those strings, and here you can see how it's all going to work. Probably if I would have picked up some elastic from Hobby Lobby, it would have worked a little bit better, but this is fine for now. Like I said, I'm not going to be toting this little book hither and to. So anyways, that worked out fine. So now they're all secured in there with the string, and now I'm just going to open my book and lay it flat so that I can tie the strings along the spine of the book. And I'm just going to tie it in a knot, just a basic knot, roughly at the center of the spine. And then what you'll see me do is I'm going to take one string from the left and go under, or from the right and go under towards the left, and then another string and go under from left to right. That way it just, I'm going to tie another knot, and that way it just holds all of the strings together. And then I'm going to tie a bow, and I'm going to clip off the extra length of it. And then I'm going to get my tag, which is all dry now, and just stick it to the front of my book. So here is a final look at my finished project along with a flip through. And if you want to pick up this kit, I'll go ahead and link the website for Prepared From Above down in the description box below this video. And if you use coupon code Karen20, you can save 20% off of everything in the shop, not just the current kit. So if you go to the website and you see something else that you want to pick up, you can go ahead and use that coupon code as well, and I'll link that down below for you too. I'll also put links to all of the products that I use throughout this video if they're still available. Like that one stamp set from the thrift store. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it, but if I do, and if it's still available, I'll put a link down down below for that as well. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.